This is Serious Combat, your go-to source for the history and coverage of combat sports. Whether it's the ring or the cage, we bring you the facts. Subscribe now, stay informed, and let's dive into the history of boxing. From ancient combat to modern sport. Boxing, one of the oldest combat sports in human history. Boxing has evolved from its brutal and primitive origins into a highly regulated and widely celebrated global sport. Throughout centuries, it has transformed from a test of sheer physical endurance to a refined contest of skill, strategy, and discipline. In this episode of Serious Combat, let's explore the history of boxing, tracing its development from ancient times to the modern era. The origins of boxing date back thousands of years, with evidence suggesting that it was practiced in various forms by ancient civilizations. The earliest known depictions of boxing appearing in Africa, and even the Sumerian civilization, showing two men engaged in a fist-fighting contest. Similarly, ancient Egyptian tomb paintings from 1350 BCE depict boxers, indicating the sport's significance in early human cultures. In ancient Greece, boxing would eventually become popular. Known as Pix, boxing was included in the Olympic Games as early as 688 BC. Unlike modern boxing, early Greek matches had no rounds, and the fight continued until one fighter could no longer continue. There were no gloves, only leather hand wraps, known as hemantes, to protect the hands while delivering devastating blows. Boxing was seen as a test of strength and endurance, often resulting in severe injuries or death. The Romans later adopted boxing but made it even more brutal by introducing metal-studded gloves called cestus. These matches often took place in gladiatorial arenas, where combatants fought to the death for the entertainment of the masses. As the Roman Empire declined, so too did the popularity of boxing, and the sport nearly disappeared for centuries. Boxing in the Middle Ages and Renaissance. After the fall of Rome, boxing faded from prominence in Europe. However, unarmed combat remained a part of various cultures, often taking the form of street brawls or informal contests. During the Renaissance, 14th to 17th century, interest in combat sports, including boxing, began to resurface as societies rekindled their appreciation for physical competition and discipline. By the 17th and 18th centuries, boxing re-emerged in England, where it became known as prize fighting. This early form of boxing lacked formal rules and was extremely violent, with fighters using bare fists and engaging in prolonged, often chaotic battles. Wealthy patrons would sponsor fighters and place bets on the outcome, making prize fighting a lucrative but dangerous profession. The birth of modern boxing. The Marquess of Queensberry rules. The foundation of modern boxing was laid in the 19th century with the introduction of the Marquess of Queensberry rules in 1867. These rules established many of the regulations still in place today, including the use of padded gloves, 3-minute rounds with 1-minute rest intervals, a 10-second count for knockdowns, a ban on wrestling, grappling, or striking an opponent when they are down. These reforms transformed boxing from a brutal brawl into a structured and strategic sport. Fighters now had to rely on technique, footwork, and defensive skills rather than sheer brute force. With these changes, boxing gained widespread acceptance and legitimacy as a professional sport. During this period, legendary fighters such as John L. Sullivan, the last bare-knuckle champion and the first recognized heavyweight champion under Queensberry rules, helped popularize the sport worldwide. The 20th century is often considered the golden age of boxing. With the rise of radio broadcasts, television, and later pay-per-view, boxing became one of the most widely followed sports in the world. Major boxing organizations such as the World Boxing Association, WBA, World Boxing Council, WBC, International Boxing Federation, IBF, and World Boxing Organization, WBO, were established to regulate and promote the sport. The century saw the rise of legendary fighters who transcended the sport and became global icons. Fighters such as Jack Dempsey, a ferocious puncher who helped bring boxing into the mainstream. Joe Louis, a symbol of American resilience and racial progress. Sugar Ray Robinson, often regarded as the greatest pound-for-pound boxer. Muhammad Ali, a cultural and political icon known for his speed, charisma, and activism. Mike Tyson, one of the most feared knockout artists in history. These fighters, along with countless others, helped shape boxing into the high-profile, lucrative sport it remains today. Today, boxing continues to thrive as a multi-billion-dollar industry with global appeal. The introduction of multiple weight divisions, improved safety measures, and stricter regulations have made the sport more accessible and competitive. High-profile fights generate enormous pay-per-view revenues, and elite boxers earn millions in prize money and endorsements. The rise of mixed martial arts, MMA, has challenged boxing's dominance in combat sports, leading to crossover fights such as Floyd Mayweather vs. Conor McGregor in 2017, which generated massive viewership. Nevertheless, boxing remains one of the most respected and historic sports, with a dedicated fan base and an enduring legacy. Boxing has evolved significantly from its origins in ancient civilizations to the sophisticated sport it is today. Once a brutal test of survival, it has become a global spectacle that balances power, strategy, and athleticism. With a rich history of legendary fighters and unforgettable moments, boxing continues to captivate audiences worldwide, proving that it is more than just a sport. It is a testament to human endurance, skill, and determination. I'm Katie Taylor, and this is Serious Combat.